Listener discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the I Should Totally Be Dead Right Now podcast, where we tell true stories of survivors of true crime, natural disasters, and everything else in between. Welcome to December, Michelle.
Oh, can you believe it's December? Can you believe it's December?
This year's gone by really fast.
Oh my gosh, it has. I don't understand. It's been crazy. Are you all ready for Christmas?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Same.
It's only 3 weeks away.
Well, I was in for a wake-up call when you announced to me that your wedding was like 95 days away.
Yeah, I know.
And that was like 5 days ago. So
yeah.
it's like 90.
90.
Oh my God. I gotta put my drink down.
I know. I have to get my shit together too. Like,
We're gonna be meal prepping.
Oh,
it's gonna be awesome.
Lose a few pounds before the wedding, you know?
Yeah, I'm not rolling
LBs.
in like this. Yeah.
But, yeah, so we hope you're enjoying your December. I need to decorate still for Christmas. Haven't done that.
We got our tree.
Oh, yay.
And we have 2 strings of lights on it.
Nice.
Thus far.
We're getting our tree tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So
where are you going to go? Do you know?
Yeah, we go to the same place for the past 2 years. Do I know the name? No.
Do you cut it down yourself or do you go get one? You just look at it.
No, so we walk around, and this place is nice because you just, like, they give you a tag, and you put it on the tree that you want, and then they go cut it down for you, bring it up for you, shake it, strap it down, and put it in your truck. So
that's
we never
like
really leave
first-class tree service.
Yeah, right?
I guess that's what comes from living in Oregon.
That's true, yeah. So we just walk around, looking around. We're like, ooh. And then
we went and got... we went to a U-Cut place with our friends and their kids, and the grandparents were there, and they were like, they brought their chainsaw, and they were going to go out and cut their own tree, and we walked about halfway down the path, and we're like, we'll see you guys later. We just got one of the pre-cut ones and left.
Right? Sometimes it's just easy.
Yeah. It's nice looking. I'm happy with it. It was probably cut that day.
Exactly.
So
I am allergic to grand fir trees. So
is that right?
Yeah. So
how did you come to find that out?
It was, what was it? I think a family member had a grand fir tree for Christmas, and when I was sitting there, I couldn't breathe. I had an asthma attack the whole time.
Oh.
Couldn't breathe. And that happened several times when we were visiting friends or family with grand firs.
And
it attacks my asthma. I can't breathe in that house, which I love, trees. I want to smell them, but it's interesting, right?
It is interesting.
So,
oh, Caitlin, leave it to you to be allergic to the weirdest effing thing ever.
I know, right? Isn't that weird? Just that specific tree. Huh.
Oh, other Christmas trees. Fine.
Yeah. So since it's the Christmassy season, what did you make, Michelle?
We made Christmas mojitos.
Ooh, man.
Yeah, they're pretty good. And I think they would be good anytime. Like, because they're not really Christmassy flavored at all.
Yeah, it's very refreshing.
Yeah. It looks Christmassy because they're nice and white, and like we put some mint in it, of course. So we made the pitcher version.
Oh, yeah.
Because the individual drink version was like tablespoons of booze, and obviously that's not going to work out for us.
It's not going to work out.
We got a podcast to record. I'm not doing that shit sober. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so at the bottom of your pitcher, you muddle. I just took like a handful of mint and threw it down there. And you squeeze what? How many limes? Like 5?
It was 5, yeah.
5 full limes. And then I put about a quarter cup of sugar at the bottom. And then so we muddled all that up, added a half a cup of white rum, and then a quarter cup of coconut rum, added a whole can of unsweetened coconut milk, the kind you use for curry and stuff, and mix that all together. And then you pour that over ice and then top it with some sparkling water. Boom. That's pretty good.
It is really good. And I lied. I did 4 limes.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Fuck, Caitlin. Well, forget it. I'm leaving. I'm out. I didn't realize I was doing the podcast with a liar.
I told the truth at the end.
No, we appreciate it. I'm glad you owned up to it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Took responsibility.
It's really good, but yeah, I think you need the sparkling water because it's really thick.
Yeah, it's almost like a milkshake or something. Or maybe if you used light coconut milk, maybe it wouldn't be quite as thick, and maybe a little coconut water instead of the sparkling water.
like the coconut is not overbearing as you would think with coconut milk. It's
Yeah.
very tasty. You can taste the lime and you can taste the rum. So
One thing that did happen, which I'm not super excited about,
Right.
is it kind of curdled a little bit when you added the sparkling water.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit unappealing, but we still drank the shit out of them.
yeah, they're very tasty. So don't let that put you off because it's delicious.
Yeah. Drink them down.
So this story is about Caheri Gutierrez.
Caheri Gutierrez.
Mm-hmm. So Caheri is a senior in high school,
Okay.
and it's November 20th, 2008 in Oakland, California.
Okay. Oakland.
So Caheri gets out of school early. It's a Thursday, and she goes home, and her mom is a waitress, and she cleans offices, like, at night.
Okay, so she has one job as a waitress during the day,
Uh-huh.
probably, and then their second night
Correct.
job. Okay.
Mhm. And sometimes Caheri would go and help her because, she works 2 jobs. She's tired. So the extra help, I'm sure, is really appreciated.
Oh, I'm sure.
So on this day, her mom calls her, hey, can you come help me? And she's like, yes, I will come. And it's like 9:30 at night, I would say. So Caheri calls her friend, like her best friend, to see if she wants to go help her. The more hands, the better. Why not? They say yes, and then she calls her other friend and asks if he would drive them. So he says yes, and he goes and picks him up. So this office is near the airport, the Oakland airport.
Okay.
Mhm. And now it's around, 9:30-ish, they're heading that way. They're listening to music, and Carrie's in the passenger seat, and her best friend's in the back seat, and the guy is driving.
Okay.
And they pull up to a red light, and now it's about 10 o'clock.
And now Michelle is getting nervous and uncomfortable
Right.
with the suspense.
Yeah. And while they're waiting at this red light, all of a sudden, Caheri feels shocks, like electric shocks.
What?
Going through her
Oh
body.
my gosh, I have a guess of what's going on.
And then there's commotion in the car. And she heard her friend in the back saying, like, what's happening? What's going on?
Yeah.
And then
What is going on?
she thought that a car had hit them from the back. But then she heard her friend who was driving yelling that he was shot. She looks at him, and his driving hands, like on the wheel, he was shot in the arm. And she saw a bullet hole in his arm.
In his, oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
And she tried to ask if he was okay, but something wasn't right. And he looks at her, and he quickly looks away. And then she puts her hand near her face, and her hand pretty much just, like, goes into her face.
Because her face is like not there anymore, pretty much.
This is what she states. And then that's when I touched my face. I didn't feel anything, and I looked towards the dashboard, and all of my gums, my teeth, everything were there.
What?
And I looked back, and there was a big bullet hole from the backseat window, and I was just like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
I know, right?
What?
So,
How is she alive?
girl, right? So Caheri was shot, and it hit her in the right jaw, and it pretty much just exploded her
Like
face.
blew her jaw off her face.
Pretty much. She states, and all of a sudden, I just started feeling sleepy, so sleepy. Oh my God, I've never felt this sleepy before. And I couldn't even keep my eyes open. I was like, oh, here it is. I'm leaving. This is it. So the driver is now just driving. Like,
He's getting the F out of there.
Exactly, yes. And they continue to drive, and now Carrie's body is, like, convulsing, and her legs are, like, kicking.
What?
And she said that she was unconscious for a little bit, and she said she doesn't know if she died, but she felt her in a dark space. Like, she was not in her body. And then she was thinking of, like, this is it, but she's like, no, I need to come back. And so she...
Oh my God, I have such goosebumps.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
So luckily, the driver spots 2 parked police cars, and they pull up next to him, and he's just like, we were shot at, called an
They're
ambulance.
like, hashtag no shit.
Yeah.
Look at the poor girl in the back.
Yeah, they got out of their car, saw Caheri and was immediately like, we're going to get you help. Everything's going to be okay. They called the ambulance. So now Caheri can't talk because her throat is now filled with blood. So she's choking on her own blood.
Gosh. I know. It's like, I'm having a hard time breathing again.
Yeah. She said that she hoped her mom knows that she didn't die in pain because she could feel no pain. She was just super sleepy.
That is a little reassuring.
Oh, I know.
Like,
right?
I mean, I have to be honest. She's in the worst shape of her entire life. Her jaw is on the fucking dash in front of her, and she's not feeling any pain.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's tired and really sleepy.
It's like, that doesn't sound so bad.
No, right? She states, I saw the freeway entrance and kind of was like, can I go? Would I make it if we go on the freeway and take me to Highland Hospital? And I was like, no. So I just closed my eyes and I was just in the car like, this is it. And I don't know. I just thought about my family and then I opened my eyes. And I was like, no, don't give up. Don't give up. Just try to hold on. And they called the ambulance and they came a couple of moments before and I was about to pass out because of all the blood. And
I wouldn't even know, like, how do they even start working on that?
Yeah.
I mean, sorry.
She said I was just kicking and couldn't talk.
Oh my God.
So on the way to the hospital, the ambulance people are like trying to keep her awake. Like, how old are you? What's your name? Could you imagine trying to keep someone in that like shape?
No.
Like conscious?
I cannot even imagine.
So she couldn't talk, of course, so she can only write. So she would write the
wow.
answers. Yeah, because she couldn't talk.
Yeah, I was actually kind of wondering about that, but...
Right, when they're asking her questions. Like,
yeah, it's like, bitch, I can't answer.
No. She was writing it down, but she tried to stay positive the whole time. She got nervous when the paramedic radioed in level 1 trauma. I don't know what that means, but it sounds bad.
Yeah, I feel like we should look it up. Hang on.
So what was it you saw?
So a level 1 trauma is the highest level of trauma care. Level 1 trauma centers provide care to the most critically ill or injured patients, and that often includes severe car accidents, falls from high places, and other accidents with extreme injuries.
And only 20%, you said?
Yeah, like only 25%
wow.
live in comparison. They have a 25% survival rate, is what it sounds like. Oh my gosh.
So it was amazing that Caheri stayed awake. They think it was just her adrenaline, keeping her awake.
Gosh, again, I am astounded by the human body and the human spirit.
She also knew the severity of the injuries when she came into the emergency room and all the nurses and doctors were wide-eyed.
Yeah, that's not like, if they're shocked, that can't be good.
The last thing Caheri remembers was she was being laid down on a bed and seeing bright lights. The bullet shot left her toothless, pretty much jawless, and deaf in one ear. It was 1 week before Caheri's awareness returned, so she was out of it for at least a week. Oh,
wow.
She had been in a medical haze and had a tracheotomy tube stabbed into her throat so she could breathe through all the blood. She had a notepad and would start to write things, but would fall asleep in the middle.
Oh,
there was just
poor
so
thing.
much. I know.
Yeah. Well, your body has been through an extreme situation.
She was trying to ask about her friends in the car, if she still had a nose, her right ear.
If she still had a nose?
I know. And asking for her mom and a mirror so she can see what has happened to her.
No, like, we don't want to give you a mirror.
That's exactly right. Doctors and nurses did not advise bringing a mirror. They were afraid that she would go into a deeper depression and,
and be like, I'm done. Forget it.
But her mom gave her a small makeup mirror because she was going to see it sooner or later.
You can count on your mom.
I know.
God damn it.
She states, I had tubes everywhere. This scar down my jaw was up on the right cheek then. I had metal plates, a trach scar, blood in my ear, blood in my fingernails, blood in her hair. I just looked ugly. So she didn't feel sadness or shock. She felt relieved. She knew it was not going to be pretty, but now she could see what actually had happened to her.
Gosh.
She was in the hospital just under a month, and the whole time she kept that mirror nearby. She wasn't obsessing, she said, about her looks or judging herself, but with all the tubes and the mucus, and she was slobbering a lot.
I would be fascinated with everything that was going
right.
on.
I think that's what it was. So she wanted to keep cleaning herself because she felt uncomfortable when it was like all the mucus and stuff. So she kept cleaning herself.
Thank God.
Ugh. Yeah. And she had she had a bone graft for her jaw, screws.
Oh,
it was
my word.
intense.
Yeah, intense is right.
She states, I'm hella smart. I'm really smart. I've achieved a lot of things in my life, but my face, I really was like, that part of my life is over. That partying, that modeling, that hanging out, that depending on my looks, that was all over with. I just wanted to do something different. So she was inspiring to be a model and being in the beauty industry, and this kind of shattered her dreams.
Yeah. Gosh.
Yeah. Caheri only cried a handful of times at the hospital, and it was usually out of frustration with the pace of her healing. She just wanted to heal faster.
Yeah.
She finally broke down and had real tears when she was released and on her way home. East Oakland is not the greatest of cities, as I was told by Michelle as well.
It's a little scarier in
It's
East
very-
Oakland sometimes.
Yeah.
I've driven through there. Sorry.
Oh, no, sorry. It's very dangerous, and Caheri and her family were scared because Caheri is still in Oakland, kind of in the slums, they said. The awful thing is that the individual or individuals were never caught, and they still don't know why. It could have been a gang initiation, just an unlucky day. They don't know, and they were never caught. Like, no one was put to justice for this awful thing.
Still at large.
Yep. So when they got to the freeway, she starts to bawl her eyes out because she's scared. She was weaker now, and she really used her looks to
help her get by.
Exactly. Yeah. So while she was home, there was waves of doubt, despair, and loneliness. Her jaw was attached to her face with an external semicircular wire brace.
I don't know what the F that means, but it doesn't sound fun.
External semicircular wire brace, yes. So Caheri luckily had good medications because she didn't feel a lot of pain. But she was unable to eat, and she lost 20 plus pounds, or 20 pounds, and could barely walk.
Oh,
so
gosh.
she lost a lot of weight, and she was already kind of petite girl already. So Caheri's mom was hit hard because they were getting, poorer and poorer because she would miss a lot of shifts to help Caheri.
Help her poor daughter who needed the help. My God.
Exactly. And not only, missing shifts, she's sad about what happened to her, her daughter.
Yeah, this is a devastating event for everyone involved.
So she didn't want to be away from her.
Yeah.
Because she almost lost her life.
Yeah, it sucks that she even has to go to work at all, I mean, I know they have leave for stuff like that, but you don't get paid.
But Caheri's face is now healing. But victims of violence usually find themselves in a lonely place, and no one around them knows how to help. So Tammy Cloud, an intervention specialist in the Caught in the Crossfire program out of Oakland, a nonprofit called Youth Alive, is assigned to Caheri's case. So she provides emotional and practical support to youth victims.
Is it like people who have just been shot randomly, essentially? That's what it sounds like.
So,
Caught in the crossfire. God.
Well, with this part of Oakland, it's really for kids who are,
Potentially
getting
gang
out
bound.
of gangs, gang bound, going down a bad path. Caheri's healing was still dragging, though, and her spirits were low, and her jaw was now wired shut. So things are healing.
But, God, I can't even imagine. I cannot even imagine.
But Tammy kept showing up to their appointments, and she had a plan. So the first thing was to get a homeschool nurse to help with the recovery and to keep her on track for graduation, because she's a senior in high school.
Oh, of course. Gosh.
Yeah. Then therapy. Even though Caheri didn't think she needed therapy, she states, I thought I was going to be cool, and I didn't think I needed therapy. I thought Tammy was thinking that I was crazy or something. And I was, but I just didn't know it. So I think she's trying to be stronger than she actually is.
Well, and, it's okay to be vulnerable.
Exactly.
And it's, I think she's stronger than she knows she is.
Absolutely.
But everybody needs help. Everyone needs to lean sometimes.
Or she was kind of in denial. Like, no, I'm good. I'm fine, but
yeah,
really.
This wasn't that big of a deal. And
right.
In fact, it was a huge deal.
Because Caheri was afraid to leave the house.
Oh.
And even to sleep because she had nightmares of being shot, and she felt also helplessness as
Oh,
well. So she
gosh.
would be afraid to sleep.
Poor thing.
She kept working on herself, and she actually finished with her GED and started college in Hayward. And they actually moved out of Oakland.
That was maybe a little bit of a relief for her.
Yeah.
Get a little change of scenery.
And she actually started to play volleyball.
Oh, okay.
And her self-esteem started to climb. Tammy and Carrie became very close, and Tammy loved who Carrie was becoming. She asked Carrie if she would want to speak to Oakland students, and Carrie loved that idea.
I'm getting a little emotional.
Both of them thought this would be a good way to get the attention of young people, might make them think, and help prevent the same things of happening. What she went through is kind of why she wanted to talk to the students and show them, like, her face, like, what can happen.
This is the result of this behavior.
Carrie was still on her own journey to recovery when a job opened up at Youth Alive, where Tammy was, and the program called Teens on Target. Tammy encouraged Carrie to apply. The Teens on Target identifies East Oakland high school students with leadership skills and helps them develop presentations on violence, how to deal with violence, avoid it, and even if they are surrounded by it, how to,
like, get themselves
achieve,
out of it.
yeah.
Or, oh, I see.
Yeah, how to achieve even though you're surrounded by violence. So meeting with the hiring committee, this was the first time Carrie was going to tell her story in front of a group. So she kept calling it her situation, and she didn't actually say what had happened. I think it was harder than she thought. It wasn't until she interviewed with the student board of the
Youth Alive.
Yeah, the Teen on Target.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Which made her actually tell her story. It was something about those kids that really made her comfortable and wanted to let them know what had happened.
Wanted to open up.
So it was now time to begin her new life. She met with students and spoke with them about her story. Of course, Carrie still had a lot of healing left to do, and there was some drawbacks when she came to her jaw and teeth because, she needed dentures now. Her jaw did heal, but now she needed dentures. Gosh. And actually part of the dentures came infected. Well, a part of the jaw came infected.
Oh my goodness.
So she had to go, she just had a lot of stuff to still work through. And she said that she was struggling with, people would tell me I look beautiful, but every time I looked in the mirror, I didn't see it, so her self-image was really,
girl, your soul shines through.
I know. But Carrie established herself as an effective speaker and community leader who took steps to prevent incidents like hers from happening again. So she goes around talking to students, telling her story, and even got to work at the mayor's office. So she
that's cool.
She posted a 10-year video, so 2018, it was 10 years. And this woman is gorgeous. I think, you couldn't tell anything had happened to her.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely not. Actually, I'll show you a picture now.
Yeah, let's bring that up. Oh, yeah, shoot.
This is her now.
Oh, come on, girl. You look amazing.
I know, right? Isn't she beautiful?
She is beautiful. My word.
Stunning.
Oh, wow, look at...
Oh, yeah. This is...
her x-rays? Oh, my word. Oh, God. Those must be the screws that are holding her jaw together.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely. But I think she looks great.
Well, looks like she's killing it. That's for
sure.
sure.
So she went through a lot.
Yeah,
and
she
I think
did.
she thinks her therapists and physical therapists. She thanks everyone, which is a really sweet video. But she really talks about her story as well, like what happened and what she was going through. Actually, Youth Alive printed this story about her. It's 28 pages long, so a lot of this came from that. It was really in depth, and it's just amazing what she overcame, honestly.
Do we know what happened to the friends?
Well, I mean,
Did they live?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That's the main thing I want to know.
Yes. I'm just they supported her? No, yeah, they survived.
What the F are you talking about?
Nothing. I don't think the friend in the back got shot. There was no injuries there.
Oh, okay. So
it was
just
the
driver
who got shot in the arm.
Poor Carrie.
Yeah. God. So Carrie was the one that got the
brunt of it.
Exactly. So I think the interesting thing is, how we tell survival stories, and at the end, they're striving, they're doing great, which she is, but we never really talk about this huge gap of them trying to, the ups and downs.
Yeah.
I guess.
Of putting their life back together.
Exactly. And I think it's
getting
okay.
your jaw infected when you're trying to get your new teeth and
right. And I think it's important when people are telling the story, like they went through a depression, like they were not feeling good about themselves and all the struggles. And I think that's good to talk about too, because it's not like this happened to me and now I'm doing great.
Yeah, and
it's
I bounced back and it was no problem.
Exactly, yeah. So I really thought that was great that she was able to open up about her mental struggles as well. So
Yeah.
I think she is going to be, well, I think she is a great speaker. I hope she gets to a lot of kids and this doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
And just not to have justice either. It was just like,
yeah,
you were
that would be really hard.
You were just at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Ah.
Or was she at the right place at the right time because she needed this in her life to make her the amazing human that she...
Yeah,
I don't know. But
well, no, she does appreciate like all the opportunities she's, people have given her, and she's been working hard,
and
so...
she is a different person than she was at the beginning. I mean... There's no way you could not be a different person.
Right.
So
I mean, she could have been going down because she was, she used to party a lot, drink, smoke weed. I mean, not...
Oh, I see. That felt very judgy,
No.
Caitlin.
No. I'm just saying, like, she was going down, like, a party path that could lead,
Maybe lead into some trouble in a different way.
Yeah, exactly. And she got out of Oakland, and but she was able to go back, talk to kids and stuff like that. But I think maybe a change of scenery helped as well.
Yeah, probably.
Absolutely.
Oh,
So,
gosh. Well, I guess run into my story, because...
my goodness. Are we on track today?
We kind of are, a little bit. Should we stop for a little second drink?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, Michelle. So let's hear it then.
All right. I apologize. I know I do it every time, but I'm going to do it again.
Okay.
For everything I'm going to mispronounce in this whole story. So, because one, we're in Russia, and two, it's sciencey. So, it's going to be nothing but a good time.
Okay.
So, I'm taking us back to July 13th, 1978.
Oh,
So,
not way back, but back.
Yeah. It's almost as old as I am. Or, yeah, almost anyway. Sorry. All right. So, this story is about Anatoli Bugorski.
Oh, okay. That sounds good.
I feel pretty good about that. This 36-year-old scientist was conducting business as usual, and he was a researcher at the Institute for High Energy Physics in,
in Russia.
Protvino.
Okay,
something like that, yeah, in Russia, working with the U-70 synchrotron.
Wow.
I'm like on fire today. I feel like I'm nailing all these words.
It's impressive.
So I guess it is the largest particle accelerator in Russia.
Wow.
So including even today, it's still the largest.
That's impressive.
Photon or largest particle accelerator. So what
do you know what that does?
Okay. Not really, but
I would know
maybe
either.
a little. What I think it does, and actually maybe it gets into this.
Okay.
Is, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't even try to explain
Maybe
it
not.
in my I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about kind of way. But
Yeah.
I think it's essentially a big round circle. So it's almost like a track where they shoot protons to speed up faster than. So it's essentially kind of making a laser. I don't know. That was kind of my impression. That is most likely completely wrong. And by the way you're looking at me, I'm not feeling like a scientific genius.
Science was my worst subject, so I'm not even going to say nothing because I don't know.
Well, my understanding is they were going to try to actually create a black hole using one where they were going to have they were going to accelerate it and then have it crash into something, and it was supposed to create a black hole. It was a big...
Why are we creating black holes, people?
Well, it didn't work, but they were concerned that we were going to actually destroy the Earth. This was back in 2008 or 9 or something. Back when poor Caheri was dealing with her stuff.
My gosh, a lot happened that year.
Yeah, I guess so.
Why do you want to create a black hole, though?
To see if they could and to study it and be able to...
This just sounds like Jurassic Park. They didn't think, should they?
Yeah.
Or
yeah, what was it?
Could they? Or what was it?
We're the worst. It's like you wanted to know if you could. You didn't stop to think if you should.
Yeah.
Well, you should not. Anyway, my understanding is it didn't work. The world did not die. We didn't get sucked through a tiny black hole. So I guess that's good news.
That's good news. Good news.
So back to Bugorski.
Yes. That sounded good.
I'm sorry.
No, that sounded great. I liked it.
I won't. Actually, I'm not making any promises. I might end up trying to do a Russian accent later and just end up hurting everybody's feelings. Okay. So back to Bugorski. It was business as usual that day. He was checking for faulty pieces of equipment and checking the safety mechanism on the machinery that had failed at apparently exactly the wrong moment. So he was leaning his head over in the direct path of the main proton beam as it moved towards him at nearly the speed of light.
Oh my gosh.
So this proton is going fast as hell. So it was going from one part of the accelerator tube to the next. And what ended up happening is the beam entered the back of his head and exited out his nose. So it went just straight through his skull, into his brain, and out his nose.
What?
Yeah.
And he's alive?
Yes, he's alive. So, as this says, without getting into the complicated details of energy physics, no one knew what would happen if a proton beam such as this would hit a human.
Right.
Because there's like a huge amount of radiation that goes along with this proton beam. So it's not just the fact that a laser went through his head. It's now the fact that he's also been irradiated.
Right.
I hope that's the right word.
Sounds good.
So based on the research, it takes about 500 to 600 rads of radiation to kill someone. But this protein beam contained 200,000 rads.
Oh my gosh.
And they figured that it would be 100% fatal, like for sure.
Yeah.
But that ended up not being the case. Based on the amount of energy the beam contained, they figured it would be this massive hole, like just clean through his face.
Right.
And how he described it, it was a flash brighter than 1,000 suns, but he felt no pain. So it was just this huge flash and then nothing. And so I guess the left side of his face, which is kind of where the beam kind of went more towards the left side, I guess, got extremely swelled or swelled up. Oh, God.
Swollen.
Yeah, it's really swollen now. Thank you, Caitlin. So he was rushed to a clinic in Moscow for treatment where as soon as he got there, the doctor was like, he's going to die. Like, sorry about it. He was just hit with this fatal dose of radiation.
Yeah.
He's got a hole. And so they just figured they would keep him there so they could study his death. Like, that was...
Terrible.
Yeah. So over the next few days, the skin that had come into contact with the beam peeled over. And once it was gone, the path of the beam, you could see the burns. It had burned his bones and the brain tissue and like his face. You could just see it all the way. I guess even after the accident happened, the nerves continued to burn.
Oh my gosh.
So it left his whole left side of his face completely paralyzed. So, and his left ear was also ineffective. So he can't hear out of it or anything. But despite all the predictions that he would be dead in a few days, he was still alive and functional.
That's crazy.
So what they think his survival was most likely attributed to was the fortunate fact that the proton beam didn't actually hit any vital parts of his brain. And so
the part you don't use.
I guess if it had hit the hippocampus, hopefully I said that right, or the frontal lobe, there probably would have been a lot more damage and most likely he would have died. But apparently because it had gone through his brain and not like his heart or an artery, like it ended up being much better.
Really?
He was able to, it ended up doing not a lot of damage and his brain rewired itself. And so it just sort of healed itself.
Did it since I don't know if it was hot or anything, but did it cauterize? Because I feel like it's a lot of blood. So.
Yeah, I think because they don't mention blood here anywhere. So it probably did kind of cauterize it as it went.
I know head and face wounds, they bleed a lot.
Yeah. So. It was more like the lightsaber style, I guess.
Whoa.
So I guess Bugorski did end up getting seizures later. So he
Okay.
would get the occasional seizure, but he didn't experience any mental decline, and he kept
Wow.
working in science and ended up getting his PhD.
Holy cow!
So I guess he was not able to talk about it for over 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Because of the secretive nature of the Soviet Union at the time. So he had to sort of keep it on the DL the whole time.
I wonder what he would tell people.
I don't know. He probably was just like, I don't know what happened. Or something.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure his family knew, but he couldn't,
Right.
Talk to a reporter or anything
Right.
like that. And it had a lot to do with the fact that he was working with nuclear power and working with this proton energy beam and, doing all this
You have to
high-end
keep
sciencey things.
That sucks. You can't talk about what happened to you for 10 years.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
So he continued to make periodic visits to the radiation clinic to get routine examinations. And he was actually able to meet a group of people that were victims of other nuclear accidents.
Oh, wow.
And so he said, like former inmates, we were always aware of one another. And there aren't many of us, but we know each other's life stories. And generally, they are sad tales. I know.
Aw.
That wasn't really that inspiring. I apologize.
But then again, yeah, there's gonna be some hardship.
So Bugorski is still alive and well today.
Wow.
And so, but there was a very odd effect of this whole situation.
Okay.
He said it essentially provided him with the ultimate chemical peel. So the left side of his face has never aged. So his right side of his
Really?
face, like, developed wrinkles and started to
Yeah.
sag and all that. And his other side of his face is almost exactly how it was the day of the accident.
Really?
So, yeah, it preserved it in the exact same state of that day.
You know people are gonna want that technology.
Can you please shoot a
know?
proton beam through my head so
Yeah,
I can
right?
look amazing forever?
That's intense. So the back of his head through his nose.
Yeah.
So he never lost his sense of smell?
No.
Wow.
He lost the use of his left ear and,
That's it.
of course, has seizures still to
Right.
this day. But for the most part,
And it healed up fine. Like there's not like a hole in his head anymore.
no, and it
Right.
seems like his brain is just
Fine.
fine and rewired itself. It's like a Star Trek episode. Now we're all back together.
Is that what happened?
That's exactly how it happens. That's science, people.
That's amazing.
So,
I'm surprised I haven't heard that story.
Well, it was on the DL for so long.
Right.
So I always like to look up strange survival
Yeah.
stories. And I came across, I was like, oh, that's a
great.
new one.
That's interesting. Yeah, we did someone with the face. That was interesting.
Yeah.
What are the odds? Wow.
My story was a little bit shorter than yours.
No,
I'm
it's
sorry.
fine. No. I think it was really interesting. Freaking science, dude.
I know. I wish I should probably have learned a little bit more about proton accelerators before we came.
I mean, we're not paying you, Michelle, so you don't have to. So.
I'm going to look up a
God.
proton accelerator.
Can I end this while you're doing that? Or you
Yeah,
wanna talk about
fine.
it?
No, it's okay. Just end it. Whatever. Look at, they're big. They're
Oh
over
my God.
whole lands.
Yeah, that's not what I was expecting. I thought it was just like in a lab.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
A particle accelerator is a machine that uses electromagnetic fields to propel charged particles at very high speeds and energies and to contain them in well-defined beams. There you go. Large accelerators are used for fundamental research in particle physics, i.e., can we create a black hole? You're welcome. Science!
Didn't know any of those words.
I'm not good
But-
at it.
Same. Ugh. Well, interesting. Okay. Science, guys.
That's getting cut.
No, it's good for the people to know, even though I still don't know what it is.
Agreed. Same. That didn't help at all.
No, I didn't. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode and get, decorating or...
Get your Christmas cocktail on. I poured
Yeah.
myself a new one and now we're freaking done.
Isn't it Hanukkah right now, too? Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah,
for
girl, I
everyone.
don't know. The worst. Maybe. Now I gotta look up when Hanukkah is. Google did know. It is. Actually, it ends on Monday.
It ends on Monday. So
Yeah,
when this
December 6th.
So when this comes out, Hanukkah will be over, or the last day of Hanukkah.
Last day. I think that's like the big day anyway.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know shit about shit. That's clear. And so,
you know, we try. All right. So if you enjoyed this episode, please follow us on Instagram and Facebook at I Should Totally Be Dead Right Now. And yeah, enjoy these cocktails. And we'll see you guys next time for our Christmas episode.
woo woo!
All right, goodbye.
Bye.